Hello. We are live. Want to make sure everything is good. Give you guys a sec to hop on. I would love to know how many of you watched Erica with her eye makeup look. She killed it. It was so good. I learned so many new tips from her. So that was really fun for her to be able to go live and teach you guys a really fun but simple look. And so I'd love to know your feedback on that. And then let me just make sure everything is good here. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Pull up a couple of things. Say hello when you're on, or if you're watching on a replay, make sure you let us know that too. Okay. So last week we talked about face shape, highlighting, contouring, and where to apply your blush specifically to your face shape. I would love to know who tried it and if you had a chance to kind of get in there and play with it. And so really it does take practice, but you keep playing until it's like how you like it and that like it makes you feel beautiful, makes you feel confident. And then once you get like your system down, then applying your makeup can go really quickly because it's like you know where things go and it doesn't matter. Like if you want to go more natural or more dramatic, like the technique is the same. It's just the amount of like color, uh like pigment that you want on there that's going to make it like pop or more of a neutral type thing. Um so anyway, so you want to keep playing with that so that you get like your like signature look, if you will. And so let's see. Hi, Priscilla. So good. So good. We got like, I mean, Masterclass is coming at you with like tutorial, and then here's lots of education. And so we're just like coming at it strong on this Friday night. So good. Okay. I think we are good to go. So we are going to talk about your eye shape tonight, and we're going to talk about colors that go with your eye color too. So we'll kind of touch on that as well, and we're really going to just kind of focus on those eyes tonight. And so just like it is important to know your face shape for how you apply your highlight, contour, and cheek color, like specifically to your face shape. It's equally important to know your eye shape so that when like when you are applying makeup, you know where and what colors to use to kind of go with it. And so I love Erica's tip of how she said if you're like more new to makeup and maybe some of the colors kind of are like, oh, like you're just like kind of hesitant to jump into those, start with earth tones. Like that's such a wonderful tip to kind of start with and practice with because they look good with all eye colors. Okay. And so I want you to type in the comments, it's me, if you've ever tried maybe a new makeup look or like you tried something different, or maybe you even tried like a smoky eye, or maybe you tried different colors for the first time and it just looked crazy on you. But not on somebody else. Like you saw somebody else and then you're like, I'm gonna try that. And then it just looked crazy. Like type it's me if that was you ever. Okay. So here's the thing. Anyone can do a smoky eye, okay? It's all about placement, blending, and then knowing your eye shape. So I'm going to show you a funny picture. So so it's not about the color, okay? It's about how you apply it. So, and I thought it was funny. Erica actually mentioned Mimi, from the Drew Carey show. And so I just thought that she had no idea I was going to be showing this picture tonight. And I just thought that was really funny too. But anyways, like, so it's like the same colors, right? But it's in the application, the blending, and obviously their eye shapes are a little bit different too. And so it all kind of, it depends on all of that, right? Okay. So I wanted to show you that funny little thing right there. And, your challenge is going to be, or your homework, however you want to say it, is going to be practicing. Okay. So I want you to take notes on what your eye shape is and, and you're going to practice based on your eye shape. Okay. So we're going to find out what your eye shape is tonight, and then you're going to specifically practice for that. Okay. All right. So let's start with eyeshadow placement and just kind of talk some like basic terms really quick here. So there's a highlight shade. That's your lightest color, and it's used to like brighten your eyes. It's usually like underneath the brow bone or like the inner corner, or you can apply it over your entire eyelid is like kind of like setting the tone. The next one is your base shade. That's like a mid-tone, okay? And so that one's usually either on the eyelids or it's just going to kind of like kind of be a gateway between your two other colors. So it's kind of like a blends shades together. So it's usually like a mid-tone type color, okay? And then your third one is your crease shade or your accent color, and that's usually the darkest shade, and that's usually used like on the outside corner of your eye to kind of create depth. It can be down by your lash line. It can go in your crease if you want more of a dramatic look, or the mid-tone, which was that second color I talked about. That one also can go in your crease. So depending on how bold you want to go, you can do a darker or a mid-tone for your crease in there. And here's a tip for no matter what your eye shape is. So for all eye shapes, remember to blend it out. And that helps just maintain definition, but it also accents like what needs to be accented. And it just kind of keeps the colors like separate, but you're blending in between. So you don't have like that. I mean, you can the Mimi look. So it was like you could see the lines and it was just drawn and kind of painted on, right? All right, so let's talk eye colors and what eyeshadow colors pair best with your eye color, okay? So whether your eyes are brown, green, hazel, blue, there's always a fun color for you, okay? So let's start with the basics and what colors that you can coordinate in your eyeshadow to get the most from your natural eye color, okay? So let's start with blue eyes. Okay. So if you think of like back to school and like the color wheel, you want to go like opposite of the color wheel. Like that's what is like the biggest contrast. And so for blue eyes, it's orange, but for your eye makeup, it's going to be in even like cheek colors paired by your blue eyes. Peach toned eyeshadows are going to bring out any blue eye. So whether you have a dark blue, light blue, a peach is really a peachy color is going to bring out your blue eyes. Um, and when you're looking at neutral shadows, try to go with maybe warmer tones to really set your blue off, okay? If your eye color is more of an icy blue, then stick with cool tones, maybe as like purples, soft pinks, pastels, any of those kind of cooler undertones. And then if your eye color is more of like a deeper blue, like royal blue or a navy blue eye, then try a color like Shiny Penny. So it's kind of like a goldy coppery kind of color. And I'll show you some eyeshadows here in a second that you can screenshot as well. But that is for blue eyes. If you have green eyes, okay, so purples have always been like the dominant shadow tone for green eyes. And so when looking at neutrals, you want to go with plums or even like gray brown. So any kind of cool neutral. And then green eyes loves pink. Okay. So not red tones, but tones that just like really set like fire to green eyes. Okay. So vibrant pink should be worn with maybe a lighter green eye. And then deeper, like burgundy reds, look really dramatic with like a deep green eye. Okay. So there's for green eyes. If you have brown eyes, the interchangeable eye, you get to wear basically whatever you want because your brown eye is neutral. However, the eye color, your eye color, you can wear anything, okay, without diluting the color of your eye, okay. However, if we think of the color wheel, okay, brown eyes love blues. Okay, so light blues, dark blues, shimmer blues, any kind of blues, okay, are going to bring out your brown eye. Okay, browns have a tad bit of maybe like a warm tone in them. So blue eyeshadows really pull that out. Okay, so you could do Midnight Star, Evening Navy. Those are two dark blue eyeshadows that Mary Kay has. And then, um, depending to well, I'll kind of talk about it with our hazel eyes. So, hazel eyes, you're going to find what your dominant color in the hazel is, and then you're going to follow whatever shade that is. Okay. So if you have mostly brown hazel eyes, then you would follow the brown eye colors. If you have mostly green eye hazel, you would follow the green eyes, and so on. Okay. However, like if you have like a golden hazel eye, you can use like bright, bold purples. We have a color called frozen iris or sweet plum. Those are really pretty. And, even like warm golds, those can kind of like warm up the eyes too. So, and then if you have like gray eyes, you're going to follow what the blue eyes. Okay. So you'll kind of follow that. And I talked about like the icy blue. Your gray eye will kind of fall in with that icy blue, kind of color, which means you'll stick to the cool tones as purple, soft pinks, and like pastel kind of colors. Okay. So let me pull that up on the screen just so you can like screenshot this or just kind of look at it. But basically, it's going through each eye color, and then it has paired 4 eyeshadow colors that look good with your eye color. Okay, so 4 Mary Kay eyeshadows that will be paired with your eye color. So if you want to screenshot that and then you can crop it to whatever your eye color is, then you can kind of have that of like, yes, these colors would look pretty on me. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. So, yeah, okay. So Angela had a great question. Let me pull this up here. She has blue eyes. Can you wear purples? Yes, you can. So, um, and I'll say like really any eye colors can wear any eyeshadow colors. It's just like when I talk about these things, it's kind of like a bigger contrast. So it'll make your eyes pop more. It'll make your eyes look bluer. It'll make your eyes look like just kind of striking, like a warm brown will pop out, or a green, whatever your eye color is. When you pair it with these certain colors, it makes it pop more because it's bigger contrast. That does not mean that that's all you can wear. Like you can equally look beautiful in other eyeshadows that match with other eye colors. And so you just kind of have to play around with it. And you'll kind of learn from that too, of just as you're applying it. But yes, you can definitely wear purples for a blue eye as well. So it's going to be those cooler tones, so purple, soft pinks, things like that. So absolutely. Cool. Great, great question. There any other questions? Let's see. Priscilla said, she said she loves pink on her hazel, and her hazel is like a green blue. So yeah, that's fun when you have hazel eyes, because it's like depending on what you wear, not just on your eyeshadow but your clothes, you can make your eyes kind of like look like they're different colors, which is kind of a fun little trick at the same time. So cool. Okay. Any questions about colors so far? Because now we're going to jump into eye shape. Okay. And so what I want you to do is grab like a pen, a pencil, something that's like thinner and straight. And you're going to need a mirror, because we're going to measure your eyeball. Okay. So I have a mirror. Right here, but basically you're going to go from like corner to corner of your eye, and that's how you're going to measure it. Okay. So it's like, that's where my eye starts. That's where it finishes. Okay. So that's like the size of my eye. Okay. And so basically, I'm going to, where my thumb and finger are, that was the end of my eye. I'm going to start that right at the corner of my eye. Okay. And as you can see, it overlaps my eye just slightly. Okay. Like I can't fit 3 eyeballs in there. It overlaps. That means my eyes are slightly close set. Okay. If your eyeball fits exactly in between, and you can't measure with your fingers like this and then move it, because like your fingers move and you're like, oh yeah, it fits. But if you actually measure it, like I could do that, if I do this and I actually measure it, you can see that it laps, which means my eyes are slightly close set. And knowing that they're close set, I apply my eye makeup different than if it were standard and I could fit 3 eyeballs in there. Okay. If you have extra space in there, so like it doesn't overlap and it doesn't fit exactly, there's actually more space in there, that means your eyes are wide set. Okay. So let me bring this back on the screen here so you can see this. Okay. So this is measuring the width of the eye. And you can see right here, she has more space here. So her eyes are wide set. And then here is close set because her eyes would overlap. okay? And what I'll tell you, like, I'm gonna go over all the eye shapes and all the different things. Once you figure out what your eye shape is, you don't have to remember all the other stuff, okay? You wanna, like, narrow in your focus of, like, what you are so that when you're doing your makeup, you know what to do, okay? And so that's gonna be the first step of, like, of eye shape, okay? Are you wide set? Are you standard? Or are you close set? Okay? That's like part 1. All right? Then after you know that, and I guess let me know if you have questions about that. And if you're like, I have no idea, you can like take a picture, selfie, post it in the comments, and I can help find tell you what you are too. So we're gonna look at some other eye shapes. So you can be one of those 3, either wide set, standard, or close set. And then you could also be one of these. Okay. So you could either be almond shape, and I want you to just look at kind of the outline of the eye, more round. Okay. And it's not a perfect circle, but you can tell her eyes are more round than the almond eyes, right? Here's a monolid or an Asian eye. Okay. Here's a hooded eye. Basically, the hood is the brow bone there. It kind of like hangs over the eyelid. This one is upturned and downturned. So though, like, it's just how your, let me make myself a little bit bigger here. Maybe. There we go. Okay. So you could be, let's say, almond eye, but then you could your eyes could be at a slant, and you could be close set. So you could be like 3 things. Okay. You might be standard this way. Okay. And they're round eyes. Okay. Or they could be upturned where your eyes are kind of slanted upward. Okay. A lot of this is not going to make a huge difference if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm 3 different things. Okay. Like it's just subtle differences. But again, like once you know it and you apply it that way, like it's going to look better on your eye when you know how to apply it specifically to your eye shape. Okay. And then down here at the bottom, there's deep set and protruding. So deep set just means they're like set back in your head a little bit, and protruding is like they're set forward a little bit. Okay. So I don't know if you guys can tell by these pictures. Does that all make sense so far? And do you have any questions about what you are? So I will tell you what I am. I am I'm closed set. Okay, I told you that already. I'm also kind of hooded, which means this right here just like is a little hood and it hangs over my eyelid. So if and I'll talk about technique in a little bit, but basically when I apply my makeup, you might not think, oh, you don't have hooded eyes. It's because of the way that I apply my makeup that makes them just stand out a little bit more, and they don't look hooded because of the way that I apply it. Okay. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions on that. Otherwise, I'm going to move on to the next thing. Okay, we're going to jump into application next. Okay, I'm going to talk about each eye individually, and we're going to talk about it. Okay, but first, let's talk kind of just a basic technique. And so I want to just show you this as kind of, like I said, kind of as like a basic technique. And then it's just going to shift a little bit determining or depending on your eye shape. Okay. So this first picture here to the left, it says using the lightest color, highlight your brow bone in the inner corner of your eye and in the center of your eyelid. Okay. So it's just talking about kind of highlighter where it typically goes. Okay. The next picture here is talking about your eyelid. So you sweep over the rest of your eyelid with your most neutral shade. That's your midtone. Okay, you add dimension or contrast with your eyes with that darkest shade, and that's going to be like a little upside down Nike swoosh and kind of into your crease. And then you can also use that dark shade down here by your lash liner if you want to create more of a dramatic look or a smoky eye. So in a nutshell, that's going to be the technique. But then what you're going to see for each eye shape, the highlight, the midtone, the crease, like all of those are going to be just slightly different than the other, which is again going to really highlight your specific eye shape. Okay. Cool. Okay. So you guys can take just take a selfie, take a picture, post it. I know you probably can't do it at the same time as if you're watching on your phone, no big deal. Just take notes and and just make note of like, okay, I think I might be this, and then you can always watch the replay and just go to that one area. So even if you're taking notes and you're like, okay, she's talking about wide set eyes and it's at minute 20 or whatever. Okay. So that's what I want you to kind of like just take notes so that way you can go back and really dive in there. Okay. So let's talk about standard eyes first. Okay. And I'm just going to pull this up on the screen. Let me make it big first. Yeah, I'm just going to make it big so you guys can see it. Okay. So we're going to talk about these these six eye shapes. Okay. And I'll just say, like, I talked about deep set, I talked about protruding. I have some tips for those too, but you're going to be one of these as well. Okay. So you're either going to be standard close set, wide set, and you might not be deep set, hooded, or Asian. You might just be one at the top. Or if you do have like a secondary thing, then you can kind of like compare. Like if you are wide set and deep set, you will kind of compare notes on the two, and you're going to do something kind of in between. You can play with both looks and see which one you like better. Okay. All right. So first, let's talk about standard eye, which is right up here in the upper left hand corner. And you see 1, 2, 3. Okay. If you see all the colors on there, I don't want you to think like, oh my gosh, this is like a puzzle piece. This goes here, and you try to make this little oval, and then you're like trying to do this. Think about it as like 1, 2, 3, like you're layering them versus trying to like fit the pieces in where they need to go. Okay. Like you can layer on top of each other, and then you don't have to worry about that placement. And we're going to blend it out too. So just kind of keep that in mind as well. Okay. So your highlight shade is the lightest color that's going to use to brighten your eyes. It's going to be underneath your brow bone. We're looking at just the standard picture right now. Okay. Underneath the brow bone. Okay. And in your inner corner. So for a standard eye, she's got it across most of her lid. Totally fine. Okay. Your base shade, which is number 2. Okay. That's like usually a neutral mid-tone color. And that's going to go on your eyelid, and it will also help blend together. Okay. So basically, your 2, if you imagine that 3's not there yet, it's kind of going to go in your crease right in there. And then the 1, I would apply that last, honestly, but you could do 1 all over first, and then you want that light to shine through though. Okay. So your crease shade is your darkest shade. That is going to be this little side boomerang over here, little windshield wiper on the outside. Okay. And that's pretty standard. So when in doubt, you can do the standard look, no matter what you have, and it will look good. Okay. It's just like if you want to specifically pop for your eyes, that's when you're going to get into like those more details. Okay. All right. The next one we're going to talk about is closed set eyes. Okay. Because your eyes are more close set, okay, you want to keep most of your lid light and bright, because anything that you highlight is going to bring forward, or in this case, it's going to make your eyes appear that they're not so close together. Okay. So there's a whole lot of color 1, which is that highlight over your entire lid. Okay. So keep that corner light and bright with that highlight shadow. And then you can shade and define with the deepest tone to kind of balance it out. Okay. So that's that 3 and that 2 over there. So the 2 went in the crease first, and then the 3 is overlapping it. Okay. So close set, what you typically don't want to do is put a dark shadow over your entire eyelid, because it'll have the illusion of bringing your eyes closer together. Okay. So you want it to appear that you don't want them any closer together than what they are, right? So it's going to highlight the center of your eyelid, is going to be that key point for a close set. Okay. Now for wide set, it's the opposite. So if you see on the picture, the only one, which is that highlight color, is going to be underneath the brow bone. So most of her lid is going to be that mid-tone, that too, because by contouring or using those like medium or even darker shades, that like the same thing when we talked about with our face, contouring our face. Anything you highlight brings forward, anything you contoured or shade is going to set back. Okay. And so with a wide set eye, you want to give the illusion that your eyes are closer together. You don't want them to look like they're further apart. Okay. So that's why there's really no one on the eyelid if you are a wide set, if you have wide set eyes. Okay. Another little application tip, do not extend any colors past the outward corner of your eyes or lash line. That can exaggerate the distance between your eyes. Okay. Um, does that make sense so far? You guys with me? Okay. When you're blending this one, you're going to blend it in and up, and that's going to pull them in. And same, like I talked about, no eyeshadow outside your lash line or out there. Same with your eyeliner. You can do your lash line, but don't do like a cat eye or like really put much further out there, because that will again draw your eyes that they're like further out. Um, okay. Any questions so far? That's basically standard close set and wide set. And you can see the placement is very similar, but yet it's like specific, right? So just knowing your specific eye shape and then practicing it is really going to help that. Okay. All right. Let's do the next one down the second row. Deep set. Okay. So deep set. Um, if you have deep set eyes, that means your eyes are set back, remember? And you're lucky because you have God-given eyeshadow already on your eyes. Okay. So bring them out, make them just seem more noticeable, and they can appear small if you're not careful when applying your eyeshadow. Okay. So use light to medium. You can definitely use shimmer eyeshadows to bring it out. Okay. To like really pull your eyes forward a little bit. Avoid contouring in the crease a whole lot if you have deep set. And so you'll see the 3 over here is very, very tiny, and it's a whole bunch of 1, okay, because your eyes are deep set. Again, we're highlighting, we're going to bring forward, right? So just a little bit on the outside for that like dramatic or darker shade, okay? Um, let's see. So yeah, don't do lots of dark crease colors if you have deep set, because that's going to make your eyes appear that they're even further set back. Okay. Your lash line, try to do fine and close to your nose and becoming like wider towards the outside of your eye. So start super thin, and then you can get a little bit heavier or thicker when you get to the outside for deep set. Okay. Are you guys with me? I know I'm like going over a lot, but like I said, once you know what you have for you, then it's only one thing you have to remember, right? Okay. Hooded eyes. All right. So for hooded eye, the goal is to make it appear that you don't have a hood. Okay. And so you're going to minimize the lid. All right. So with a hooded eye, basically you have to recreate the crease. Okay. So that's going to be my like biggest tip with this. And you can see that it's a lot higher on the hooded eye, let's say, than, um, the deep set eye kind of thing. And so with hooded, basically, so your crease is naturally like right there. So if I just did it on my crease, let me make myself bigger here really quick. If I just applied eyeshadow on my crease, when I open my eyes and I have a relaxed face, you would not see any of my eyeshadow. Like it was like, why did I even do that? It disappeared. And so, in order to make it look like I don't have a hood, you have to take that crease just a little bit higher than you naturally would, so that when your eyes are open, you can see the eyeshadow and you can see that you've applied it. Okay. And so there's my big tip with like hooded eyes. Let me see if there's anything else that I want to talk about that. But basically start the lash line, blend upward with a medium shadow, layer for more depth. And when lining your lashes, make sure that you use enough to show that the eye is open, okay? And the other thing I'll say is your brows are gonna be very important if you have a hooded eye because you can, like, divert the hood. It's like you can, like, the between your brow and recreating that crease, it's like hooded, you don't have hooded eyes, okay? Like that's the key right there with the hooded eyes, okay? Which is pretty cool. So, mid-tone color can be added or blended on top of a darker color to soften any harsh lines. So again, just kind of blend it out, and that is hooded eyes. Okay, next one we're going to talk about is our Asian eye. Let me pull this screen back up over here, or a monolid. Okay, and so basically with that, we have, let me pull up my little picture here. So this is similar to hooded in that a monolid, you don't really have a crease either. So you have to like create the crease. And so you can see the 3 is really curving over there. That's going to give that illusion there. And you'll also notice the highlight is down by basically the nose and goes right underneath that brow bone. Okay. And so that is going to be really like key when applying for Asian eye there. Let me see really quick here. Let me go back up here. Okay. I'm going to pull this picture back up here. So the monolid, zoom in here a little bit. Okay. So as you can see, like on an actual eyeball here, you can see her crease color that she put up top there. And then the highlight is going to be underneath that brow bone and it goes down here by the nose. Okay. And so I'll pull this whole picture up here again really quick so you can kind of see. So her hooded eyes, I'll pull those up really quick. Her eyes do look hooded there because she didn't pull her eyeshadow up high enough. I would have just pulled it up a tiny bit more so that it creates more of a crease, but it's a great picture to show like what hooded eyes look like, right? Okay. Um, Perfect. Okay. So there's that. Any questions so far? I do want to just kind of touch on a couple of other things with the eye shape because you could have those things and you could have small eyes. Okay. If you have small eyes, like maybe they're close set, but your eyes are just like tiny, they're just smaller eyeballs. Avoid dark eyeshadows because that is going to close in your eyes even more. You want to do lots of highlight, lots of lighter colors on your eyes. And you can still contour, you can still use the crease, just keep it like more thin and focus on lightening and brightening your eyes, okay? And make sure you curl your lashes like that anytime you curl your lashes and you put mascara on, which we'll talk about mascara here in a minute. Anytime you do that though, it really opens and makes your eyes look bigger, bolder, brighter, okay? If you have relaxed eyes where it just your eyes are at a slant, they just set at a slant, um, kind of like your outer corners. The goal is to make them appear that they're turned up. Okay. So use liner sparingly. All right. And don't apply it on the bottom. And if you do have to do it on the bottom, do a very super thin line. But essentially, when you line on the bottom and you line all the way over here, it's basically drawing an outline to make them look more turned downward. Okay. And so, what you can actually do is if you do have downward slanted eyes, you can kind of like stop your eyeliner in this angle and you can like wipe it almost like upward and a little cat eye there. It's going to turn it upward. Does that make sense? So, the way that you apply it versus following your whole eye all the way down, right? So you'll kind of, and that'll make them go upward. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Highlight your brow bone if you have relaxed eyes. And the other thing, if your eyes are at a downward slant, focus on concentrate that mascara in the middle of your eyelashes. So if you do a whole bunch over here, again, that's going to have that more turned down, like attention towards that area. So if you really focus on mascara towards the center, it's going to lift your eyes up. Okay. All right. let me know if you have questions about any of that, but that was our eye shape, all of our eye shapes. And then I will post pictures in there for you to see in the group as well, so you can kind of like I said, really practice and kind of get in there. So let's talk about eyeliner next. So I have a couple of tips with eyeliner. So if you want like everyday eyeliner, okay, just do a simple line, just drawn on across your upper lash line. And that's like the most common way, right? Just doing your lash line. If you're new to eyeliner, you can do like kind of like little dashes across the lash line, okay? Rather than trying to just draw a solid line. Okay. And then after you do those little dash lines, you can kind of fill in the blank spaces, and you just kind of take your time and go real slow with the pencil. Or you could use an eyebrow eyeliner brush as well. And that will create just like a softer, more diffused line. I think I already talked about this, but if your eyes are small, a dark, heavy line across your upper and lower lash line is going to make your eyes look even smaller and narrower. So use eyeliner pencil shaper to just really create the tip of your pencil tip, and use it to be very, very thin if you have small eyes. And you can do it on your upper line, and maybe instead of on your lower lash line doing eyeliner, maybe you could just do like the outer third and kind of smudge it in there versus eyelining the whole eye. Because if you trace it, again, your eye is going to appear a little bit smaller. What do you mean Erica used? What are you asking, Angela? Let me know specifically what she used, and I will tell you. Okay, if you have deep set eyes, an easy way to tell if someone has deep set eyes is to see how visible their eyelid is when their eyes are open, okay? So they have a lot of visible eyelid space when eyes are open. This space allows for a thick eyeliner application. And so you'll want to keep the inner third of your eye light and start just above the center of your eye. Apply a thin line of eyeliner that gets just thicker towards the end of the lash line, okay? The brush. Yes, correct. Yes. So there's yeah, little angled brush. That's yes, exactly what I was talking about. If you want to kind of help get it in there, if you don't want to use the pencil. But we have a gel eyeliner, which is what Erica used, was a gel, and she used that little brush that goes with it. And then there's a liquid eyeliner too. So you have options in your eyeliners of what you do, but this is more about kind of like applying it. So cool. Okay. Hooded eyes with eyeliner. Let me give you a tip here. So if you have hooded eyes, focus eyeliner application on the root of your lashes. So really the closer to your lash line that you can get, like that application technique is kind of creating like a tightening effect. Okay. That will instantly make your eyes look bigger and more open without any eyeliner at all. So honestly, that's typically what I do is when I apply my eyeliner, I go underneath my lash line here, and I just go back and forth right there because it gives just makes my eyes look bigger, and so it creates definition. And then you can do eyeliner just like on the outer third versus taking it all the way over, and you can use a smudger brush to kind of blend it out. Okay, all right, there's eyeliner tips and tricks. Okay, and I kind of mentioned some of those already. Any questions here? Let me see. Nope, we're good. Okay. I got some lash tips, and then we'll talk about mascara. And I think that will be the end of our eyes for today. So a couple of tips with lashes. So first, you'll curl your lashes before applying any primer or mascara. Mary Kay actually has a limited edition lash curler right now, which is amazing. And I actually have one from the last time they did a limited edition one. So they last a really long time, which is really great too. But if you've never used them before, game changer for your lashes. So you do it before anything is on your lashes. And you just get as close to your base as possible. It'll curl them up. Okay. Base of the lash line. And that, yeah, just get as close. Okay, so then you can do a lash primer next, and you want to get that brush as close to your lash line as possible and do a little zhuzhing back and forth from root to tip. Okay, and then you can get use a mascara and do the same technique. So just gently wiggle that brush back and forth while drawing up the lashes to really just like coat every lash, okay? You can use the tip of the brush, okay, to add a little extra mascara for if you want a little extra something, something. Okay, you can do that on the tips, like hold your brush vertically, okay? Never pump your mascara into the tube, okay? This can dry out your mascara and also starts getting the bacteria all trapped up in there, okay? And then remember to replace any mascara about 3 months for best results. I think I've mentioned this before, but I replace my mascara on the first of every new season. So first day of winter, I get a new mascara and I get a new toothbrush because you need to replace your toothbrush that often as well. And then on the first day of spring, same thing. I get my new mascara, get my new toothbrush out. And so that just reminds me. And so now I just know it's like, okay, that's been 3 months. And so I need to get my new one out. Okay. And let me just pull up the screen here so you can see our different mascaras. And so there's a mascara for every occasion. And you can have multiple mascaras in your mascara wardrobe because you might want different looks for your eyes on different days. And so the first one is our Lash Intensity Mascara. And so you get 200% more volume using that mascara, adds thickness of like 2 lashes onto every one. Okay. So really it's all in the name. Lash intensity. It's going to give you some intense lashes, okay? The next one is our Lash Love Mascara. It has more definition. So it gets lashes that just look more naturally. They look soft, and it has like almost like a comby brush. Like the bristles are kind of like almost like a comb because it really separates all of your lashes. Then we have a Lash Love Lengthening Mascara. And so that is what it's going to do exactly like it's all in the name, right? Like it's going to tell you what it does, but it just has these special like stretch fiber formula for to give you more longer lashes, and then it also kind of separates them at the same time. So it's kind of like putting our Ultimate Mascara and our Lash Love Mascara together, and you get the Lash Love Lengthening Mascara. Which the next one down is our Ultimate Mascara. It's one of our best sellers. We've had that in our line for a very long time because it's a really good mascara. It's our Ultimate Mascara. It volumizes, it super thickening formula. It's just going to give the look of big, bold, separated lashes. So that one's like a really good one. And then we have our waterproof mascara, and that is the same formula as our Lash Love Mascara. However, it's waterproof. Okay. And so it is waterproof. Like I've tested it before swimming and all the things, and it stays on. So those are our different mascaras. And that is all about our eyes today. So I'll be sharing some more pictures in our group so that you can like really focus and take note on all of that. And you can also rewatch the videos, screenshot like the eye shapes. You can go back to the other video and do face shapes as well. Let me know if you have any questions. And then if you are watching on a replay, let us know in the comments. Tag your consultant so she knows that you watched as well. I'm just going to see if I have any other notes and any other questions that you guys had. All right. I think that was all the notes that I have, but I hope that you guys learned some new things. And if you do have questions, I know Angela said she texted me her picture, so I will look at that as soon as we hop off. And yeah, if you need help, I'm glad to help with eye shape, so I can tell you what you are, and that way you can really get in there and practice with your application. So good. All right, guys, I think that is it. So have a wonderful night. And next week we're going to talk about like framing and like last minute touches kind of thing. Like so think brows, lips, any extra kind of like tips and hacks. We're going to kind of like frame stuff together and really help frame your face shape. Okay? So just framing your eyes, framing your face is kind of like what we did last week, what we did this week, and then it's like pulling in the extra details around that. So I'm excited for you guys to be back and check that out too. Let me see if there's any other questions at all. Um, cool. Okay. Have a great night. I don't think we have any other questions. So, yeah. Okay. Have a good night, guys. We'll talk to you soon.